Hi friends, I am your friend and host from VRX. Today we are going to talk about various types of animations. As we all know, animation is a method by which still figures are manipulated to appear as moving images. Here is the first one, which is traditional animation. Traditional animation, classical animation, cell animation, or hand-drawn animation, is an animation technique in which each frame is drawn by hand. The technique was the dominant form of animation in cinema until computer animation. The next type is digital 2D animation. 2D animation figures are created or edited on the computer using 2D bitmap graphics and 2D vector graphics. This includes automated, computerized versions of traditional animation techniques, interpolated morphing, onion skinning, and interpolated rotoscoping. The next type is 3D animation. 3D animation is digitally modeled and manipulated by an animator. The 3D model maker usually starts by creating a 3D polygon mesh for the animator to manipulate. A mesh typically includes many vertices that are connected by edges and faces, which give the visual appearance of form to a 3D object or 3D environment. Sometimes, the mesh is given an internal digital skeletal structure called an armature that can be used to control the mesh by weighting the vertices. This process is called rigging and can be used in conjunction with keyframes to create movement. The next type is stop-motion animation. Stop-motion animation is an advanced FlipBook-style form of animation. It involves photographing and then physically manipulating objects within your frame. As each frame is played in sequence, the technique creates the effect of an object moving. The next type is mechanical animation. Mechanical animation is the process of creating realistic 3D renderings of diverse mechanical goods and their components, configurations, assemblies, and modes of operation. The next type is audio-animatronics. Audio-animatronics is the registered trademark for a form of robotics animation created by Walt Disney Imagineering for shows and attractions at Disney theme parks, and subsequently expanded on and used by other companies. The robots move and make noise, generally a recorded speech or song, but are usually fixed to whatever supports them. They can sit and stand, but usually cannot walk. An audio-animatronic is different from an android-type robot in that it uses pre-recorded movements and sounds, rather than responding to external stimuli. In 2009, Disney debuted an interactive version of the technology called Auto-Animatronics, and in 2018, announced aerial stunt figures called Stuntronics. Next is Chuckimation. Is a type of animation where characters, props are thrown, moving, and flying with unseen hands, similar to stop-motion animation. It was used by the makers of Action League Now and Mystic Wars, and it was also used for an animated movie called Inquire, a town called Panic and Quat. Next is puppetry animation. Puppetry is a form of theater or performance that involves the manipulation of puppets, inanimate objects, often resembling some type of human or animal figure, that are animated or manipulated by a human called a puppeteer. Such a performance is also known as a puppet production. Next is clay animation. Clay animation or claymation, sometimes plasticine animation, is one of many forms of stop-motion animation. Each animated piece, either character or background, is inquire, deformable inquire, made of a malleable substance, usually plasticine clay. Next is cutout animation. Cutout animation is a form of stop-motion animation using flat characters, props, and backgrounds cut from materials such as paper, cards, stiff fabric, or photographs. The props would be cut out and used as puppets for stop motion. The world's earliest known animated feature films were cutout animations, made in Argentina by Quirino Cristiani, as is the world's earliest surviving animated feature Die Abenteuer des Prinzen Ahmed, 1926, by Lot Reiniger. Next is sand animation. Sand animation is the manipulation of sand to create animation. In performance art, an artist creates a series of images using sand, a process that is achieved by applying sand to a surface and then rendering images by drawing lines and figures in the sand with one's hands. A sand animation performer will often use the aid of an overhead projector or lightbox, similar to the one used by photographers to view translucent films. To make an animated film, sand is moved on a backlit or front-lit piece of glass to create each frame. Next is typography. Typography is the art of arranging letters and text in a way that makes the copy legible, clear, and visually appealing to the reader. It involves font style, appearance, and structure, which aims to elicit certain emotions and convey specific messages. In short, typography is what brings the text to life. Next is paint-on-glass animation. Paint-on-glass animation is a technique for making animated films by manipulating slow-drying oil paints on sheets of glass. Gouache mixed with glycerin is sometimes used instead. The best-known practitioner of the technique is Russian animator Alexander Petrov. He has used it in 7 films, all of which have won an award. Next is drawn-on-film animation. Drawn-on-film animation, also known as direct animation or animation without a camera, is an animation technique where footage is produced by creating the images directly on film stock, as opposed to any other form of animation where the images or objects are photographed frame by frame with an animation camera. Next is experimental animation. An experimental animation is a form of animation in which motion pictures have their own rhythm and movement where it has no narration or a specific structure. In animated films, it is considered to be subjective and nonlinear and deals with philosophic and spiritual concerns that the artists and filmmakers convey. Next is erasure animation. Erasure animation uses 2D animation for motion graphics. Many popular charcoal erasure films have been created using this technique, and one famous animator is William Kentridge. Photography and animation have to be done at every change to create a fluid motion in the animated film. Next is pinscreen animation. Pinscreen animation. A screen being pricked by thousands of headless pins is used to create pinscreen animation. Alexander Alexeyev and Claire Parker invented the pinscreen animation technique in the 1930s. The two people used the pin screen to create Night on Bald Mountain. Once the pins are pricked, the screen is lit on one side, which casts shadows. Based on the depth of the prick, the deeper the shadow. Next is FlipBook animation. Even before the time of computers, animation was very much in practice. Artists used to carry a small flipbook or flickbook and draw a series of images, with little variation to the pictures. So when the book is flicked rapidly, you can see the series of images in a fluid motion, trying to show a scene. Flipbook animation is one of the oldest but fascinating kind of animation. I hope it will help you to understand the types available in the industry. If you want to know more about animations, please write in the comment box, and if you are new to our channel, then please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.